I used to think discipline was about willpower, gritting your teeth, forcing yourself to do things you didn't want to do, pushing through resistance by sheer mental strength. Then I watched it fail. Repeatedly, I'd start strong with new habits, gym routines, work schedules. For a while, willpower would carry me. Then something would shift. A stressful week, a disrupted routine, a moment of weakness, and the whole structure would collapse. Running my own business taught me something important about this. When everything depended on me showing up consistently, I couldn't rely on feeling motivated. Some days I woke up energized, other days I didn't. But the work still needed doing, and willpower alone wasn't going to cut it. The people I've known who actually sustained discipline over years weren't superhuman. They weren't blessed with extraordinary willpower. They just figured out something fundamental that I'd missed. Lasting discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about building systems, environments, and mindsets that make the right behaviors easier to maintain than abandon. Let me share 7 things these people focus on that have nothing to do with willpower. 1. They design their environment to make good choices automatic. My dad worked in a factory for 35 years. Every morning, whether he felt great or terrible, he showed up. When I asked him about it once, he shrugged. The alarm goes off. I get up. That's just what happens. He wasn't being dismissive. He'd made his environment do the work. His work clothes were laid out the night before. His lunch was packed. His routine was so embedded in his physical space that following it required less effort than resisting it. Research backs this up. A study found that people who planned when and where they'd exercise were significantly more likely to follow through than those who relied on motivation alone. When I finally got serious about writing consistently, I stopped trying to manufacture willpower every morning. Instead, I cleared my desk the night before, left my notebook open to a blank page, and made coffee the first thing I did. By the time I sat down, starting felt like the path of least resistance. The people who maintain discipline long-term don't fight their environment. They shape it so that doing the right thing becomes the obvious next step. 2. They focus on identity, not outcomes. There's a difference between, I want to write a book and I'm a writer. One is a goal, the other is an identity. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits. When your discipline is tied to outcomes, you're constantly negotiating with yourself. Should I go to the gym today? Should I write this morning? Every decision becomes a choice you have to actively make. When it's tied to identity, the question changes. It becomes, what would someone like me do right now? I've watched this play out in my own life. When I thought of myself as someone trying to get fit, going to the gym was always optional. When I started thinking of myself as someone who exercises regularly, skipping felt like a contradiction rather than a relief. The shift is subtle but powerful. You're not forcing yourself to act against your nature. You're acting in alignment with who you believe yourself to be. People with lasting discipline don't see their behaviors as separate tasks they need to complete. They see them as expressions of the person they already are. 3. They build in friction for bad habits and remove it for good ones. I used to keep my phone on my bedside table. Every morning I'd check messages before I'd even sat up. Then I'd fall into scrolling and suddenly 20 minutes were gone. I didn't need more willpower to stop this. I needed to make it harder. Now my phone charges in another room. When I wake up, it's not there. The small barrier of having to walk to get it gives me just enough space to remember what I actually wanted to do with my morning. The principle works in reverse too. When I wanted to read more, I stopped keeping books on a shelf across the room. I put one on the coffee table, one by my bed, one in my bag. Reading became easier than not reading because the book was always right there. People who sustain discipline aren't constantly battling temptation. They're making the things they want to do easy and the things they don't want to do slightly harder. 4. They track behavior, not results. When I started my consultancy, I obsessed over outcomes. How many clients did I land? How much revenue did I generate? When the numbers were good, I felt motivated. When they weren't, I spiraled. The problem with tracking results is that they're often delayed and partly outside your control. You can do everything right and still not land the client. You can write brilliantly and still not see immediate traction. That kind of feedback loop destroys discipline because it makes your effort feel pointless when results don't materialize quickly. The people who maintain discipline track behaviors they can control instead. Did I reach out to 5 potential clients today? Did I write for an hour? Did I exercise?